This is.
And this is.
And together we are. Continuing with our series of episodes based on ideas by the old masters, today we would like to speak to you about a brilliant scientific mind who also liked the recorder, Girolamo Cardano, also known as Jerome Cardan or Jerome Cardan.
Cardano was a scientist and he worked on many different areas. Physics, chemistry, astronomy and medicine, for example. And he published over 200 scientific works.
His main achievements in science were actually in the field of mathematics and particularly algebra, but he also came up with mechanical designs that are still in use today.
It is wonderful to think that such a mastermind was also passionate about writing, about music and about recorder playing.
Cardano grew up in Milan and there he had recorder lessons during his youth. Apparently he became quite a good player and his interest in music never really disappeared.
He wrote 2 books on music, or better, 2 versions of the same book, which was called De Musica. The first version was completed in 1546 and the second one in 1574.
After a little change of room, we continue. Today we are going to focus on one of the aspects mentioned by Cardano, recorder sizes.
However, if you become curious and want to read more about Cardano's writing on music, please check the links in the video description below. Have fun!
Talking about Cardano is a great opportunity to speak and compare how recorder consorts used to be built and tuned in the past and how they are built nowadays, and to answer some of the most burning and frequent questions about these instruments.
Girolamo speaks about 4 different sizes in De Musica. The bass in F, the tenor in C, the discant in G, what we now call G alto, and another higher recorder in D, which has no specific name in his book. Then you may wonder, if Cardano only speaks of these 4 sizes of recorders, did the smaller and the bigger instruments exist at all?
And the answer is yes, of course they did. But it's true that great basses and contrabasses and sopraninos were slightly less common than the 4 sizes Hester mentioned. Let's say they were luxury products.
There is another reason why Cardano and other writers before, like Verdun, Agricola and Ganassi, didn't find it necessary to mention the bigger sizes.
And that is, to play Renaissance polyphony on recorders, you are hardly ever gonna need more than 4 different sizes of recorder.
And since the interval between the different sizes of instrument is always the same, you can play the same music, reading the same way, using the same fingerings as long as the instruments are a fifth apart.
So back in the days, you only needed to know how to deal with the basic set. Bass in F, a tenor in C, an alto in G, sometimes a soprano in D. If you played on a consort made of other sizes of instruments, the recorder's transposed for you.
Let us show you a few options with our 2 lovely guest players, Patricia Roa Johansen from Denmark and Emily Bannister from England.
this last example, you've seen a really tall recorder which actually did not yet exist in the 16th century, but it is built based on the same principle. The instrument that played the tenor line was a contrabass in F, and the largest recorder you saw is a fifth lower than that, a subcontrabass in B flat.
Towards the end of the 16th century and the beginning of the 17th century, some recorder concerts started including sizes that were alternated a fourth apart and a fifth apart. Something a bit closer to the system that became a standard in the 20th century.
Do you want to learn more about the historical setup of recorder consorts?
And do you also want to know more about the historical makers of the 16th century?
Then you can read the article Renaissance Recorders and Their Makers by David Lasocki and Adrian Brown. We leave you the link below.
Happy reading!
See you next time!
Bye bye!